Dirt poor to dollar rich, a farmer's tale. Can you really turn a patch of tired earth into a thriving million-dollar business? Many folks will tell you no. They say farming is a fast track to being broke. They say it's just hard work and little reward. They believe big corporations hold all the cards. They paint a picture of doom and gloom for the small family farm. We hear this all the time, don't we? It's enough to make anyone want to pack up and head for the city. But hold on a minute, not all stories end that way. This story is different. It's a story about grit. It's a story about smart thinking. It's about looking at the land with fresh eyes. It's about one farmer who dared to dream bigger. He faced the same struggles everyone else did. He knew the sting of failure and the heavy burden of debt, but he didn't let that stop him. He found a path that others missed. He listened to the land. He learned from nature's own playbook, and he transformed his life and his farm. Imagine a farm buzzing with life, happy animals, rich dark soil, customers lining up for fresh healthy food. This isn't a fantasy. This became reality for our farmer. He didn't win the lottery. He didn't inherit a fortune. He built his success from the ground up, quite literally. He proved that you can farm and be profitable. He showed that a small farm can indeed become a powerhouse of production and income. His journey is a beacon of hope for anyone who loves the land. Meet Elias Thorne. That's the name we'll give our farmer. His real story and stories like his are playing out across the country. People are waking up. They are realizing that the industrial food model isn't the only way. Elias started with almost nothing, just a worn-out piece of land and a mountain of debt. But he had something powerful. He had a willingness to learn. He had a desire to change, and he discovered a way to farm that healed his land and his bank account. Let's dig into his amazing journey. When the land cried out early struggles. Elias Thorne's farm, in the early days, was a picture of struggle. The fields were tired, the soil was compacted and lifeless. Years of conventional farming had taken their toll. Elias followed the advice he was given. He used the recommended chemicals. He planted the same cash crops year after year, but yields were always disappointing. The income he earned was barely enough to cover his costs. It felt like he was running on a treadmill, working harder and harder but getting nowhere. The land itself seemed to be crying out for help. His financial situation was dire. The low income from the farm meant there was never enough. Bills for fertilizer and pesticides ate up any small profit. Equipment repairs were a constant drain. He tried to make ends meet by taking off farm jobs, but that just left him exhausted. It took time away from the farm work that desperately needed doing. He felt stretched thin, pulled in too many directions. His dream of a successful farm was fading fast. The vibrant, productive landscape he envisioned was a distant, hazy memory. The animals on the farm, few as they were, also seemed to struggle. They didn't thrive. Sickness was common. Vet bills added another layer of expense. It was a vicious cycle. Poor soil led to poor forage. Poor forage led to unhealthy animals. Unhealthy animals meant more costs and less income. Elias knew something was fundamentally wrong. The system he was part of wasn't working for him. It wasn't working for his land. It wasn't working for his animals. He felt trapped in a failing model. Every morning Elias woke up with a heavy heart. The joy he once felt for farming was replaced by anxiety. He looked out at his land and instead of seeing potential, he saw problems. He saw the thirsty crops. He saw the eroding soil. He saw the mounting bills on his kitchen table. The future looked bleak. He worried constantly about losing the farm that had been in his family for generations. The thought was almost unbearable. He knew he couldn't continue like this. Something had to give. Buried in bills, the crushing weight of debt. The debts were like a shadow that followed Elias everywhere. They loomed over every decision, every purchase, every conversation about the future. He had taken out loans to buy equipment, loans to cover operating costs, loans just to keep food on the table. The interest rates were high. The repayment schedules were relentless. Each month, a significant portion of his meager income went straight to the bank. It felt like he was working for them, not for himself or his family. The weight was truly crushing. He started avoiding the mail. He dreaded the phone calls from creditors. The stress was immense. It affected his health. It strained his relationships. Sleepless nights became the norm. He would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, his mind racing. How could he get out of this hole? How could he turn things around? The solution seemed impossible. He felt isolated. Many farmers in his area were facing similar struggles. But nobody talked about it openly. There was a sense of shame attached to financial hardship. The idea of giving up haunted him. Selling the farm seemed like the only logical option sometimes. He could pay off his debts, he could find a steady job in town, life would be simpler, less stressful, but the thought of leaving the land broke his heart. Farming was in his blood. It was more than just a job, it was a way of life. It was his heritage. The internal conflict was tearing him apart. He was a farmer. What else could he be? He tried everything the experts suggested. He cut costs wherever he could. He tried new seed varieties. He listened to the advice from the Agricultural Extension Office. But it was like putting a small bandage on a gaping wound. The problems were deeper, systemic. The conventional farming model, with its reliance on expensive inputs and volatile commodity markets, was failing him. He needed more than just minor adjustments. He needed a radical change, a complete overhaul of his thinking and his practices. But what could that be? A ray of sunshine. The turning point arrives. Just when Elias felt he was at his lowest point, a small ray of sunshine appeared. It didn't come as a sudden miracle, it came as a quiet suggestion. A neighbor mentioned a workshop happening in a nearby town. The topic was farming in nature's image. Elias was skeptical. He had been to so many workshops before. They usually offered the same old advice that hadn't helped him much. But he was desperate. He figured he had nothing left to lose. So he decided to go. The workshop was different from others he had attended. The speaker wasn't a salesman for a chemical company. He was a farmer himself, a farmer who talked about healthy soil. He talked about working with natural systems, not against them. He spoke of farms that were diverse and resilient, farms that didn't need expensive inputs, farms that were profitable. Elias listened intently. For the first time in a long while he felt a flicker of hope, a sense that maybe, just maybe, there was another way. The speaker emphasized observation. He urged farmers to become students of their land, to watch how nature worked, how plants and animals interacted in wild ecosystems. He talked about building soil organic matter. He explained how healthy soil could hold more water, how it could resist pests and diseases, how it could grow nutrient-dense food. This was a language Elias hadn't heard before. It was a language of healing, a language of regeneration. It resonated deep within him. Elias left the workshop with his mind buzzing. He bought a couple of books the speaker recommended. He spent his evenings reading, learning about concepts like rotational grazing, polyculture, cover cropping, no-till farming. These weren't just abstract ideas, they were practical strategies that other farmers were using successfully. A new energy surged through him. The despair began to lift. He wasn't sure if it would work on his farm, but he was determined to find out. This was his turning point. Section 5. The Epiphany in the Field, a New Vision. The real epiphany for Elias didn't happen in a classroom, it happened out in his own fields. As he walked his land, armed with his new knowledge, he started to see things differently. He noticed the compacted areas where water pooled after rain. He saw the lack of earthworms in the lifeless soil. He observed how the few remaining patches of native grasses seemed healthier than his cultivated crops. Nature was showing him the problems. And he realized it was also showing him the solutions. The answers were right there, under his feet. He decided to start small. He fenced off one of his worst pastures, a field that was mostly bare dirt and weeds. Instead of plowing it and planting a monoculture crop, he did something radical. He broadcast a mix of diverse cover crop seeds, legumes, grasses, brassicas, plants that would cover the soil, plants that would fix nitrogen, plants whose roots would break up the compaction. He then brought in his small flock of chickens. He moved them daily across the field in a portable coop. Following them, he planned to graze cattle. The change was astonishing. Within a few months, the cover crops were thriving. The chickens, by scratching and pecking, had incorporated their manure into the soil. They also ate weed seeds and insect pests. When he finally brought his few cattle onto that pasture, they feasted on the lush, diverse forage. The soil started to look darker. It smelled richer. Earthworms began to reappear. It was like the land was waking up. Elias was amazed. This wasn't just theory. This was working, right here on his own farm. This small success fueled his passion. He realized his farm didn't need more chemicals. It needed more life. It needed diversity. It needed animals managed in a way that mimicked nature. His vision for the farm began to transform. He no longer saw himself as just a crop producer. He saw himself as a soil builder, a caretaker of an ecosystem. He envisioned a farm where multiple enterprises worked together, chickens following cattle, pigs tilling garden beds, a complex symbiotic system, a system that was both ecologically sound and economically viable. Section 6: Nature's Blueprint, the winning farm strategy. Elias's winning strategy was all about mimicking nature. He called it Symphony of the Soil farming. The core idea was to create a farm ecosystem, an ecosystem where every element supported the others. He stopped using synthetic fertilizers and pesticides completely. This was a scary step, but he trusted the process he was learning. He knew that healthy soil, teeming with microbial life, would provide the nutrients his plants needed, and healthy plants would be more resistant to pests and diseases. He was right. His first major change was implementing multi-species rotational grazing. He divided his pastures into smaller paddocks. His cattle would graze a paddock intensively for a short period, usually just a day or two, then they would move to fresh pasture. This prevented overgrazing and allowed the plants to recover quickly, and their hooves and manure stimulated soil life. 3 days after the cattle moved, he brought in his laying hens in portable eggmobiles. The chickens spread the cow pats, ate fly larvae and parasites, and added their own valuable fertilizer. Next, he integrated pigs into the system. He used them to till areas that needed renovation or to clean up leftover crops in his market garden. He called them his porcine plows. They loved to root and dig. They did the work of a tractor, but they did it better. They aerated the soil and added fertility. He also expanded his market garden. He grew a wide variety of vegetables. He used companion planting and cover crops to manage pests and build soil. Diversity was key everywhere on his farm. The results were incredible. His soil organic matter increased dramatically. The water infiltration improved. His pastures became thick and green. His animals were healthier than ever before. Vet bills plummeted. His input costs for fertilizers and pesticides dropped to almost zero. He was producing more food, better quality food, on the same amount of land, and he was doing it with less expense. His farm was no longer a barren, struggling piece of ground. It was a vibrant, productive, and profitable ecosystem, a true symphony. Section 7: Stacking Enterprises, the Million-Dollar Model. Elias's journey to becoming a millionaire farmer wasn't about one magic bullet. It was about stacking enterprises. This means having multiple income streams from the farm. Each enterprise complements the others. It creates a resilient and highly productive system. This is the core of his business model. Let's break it down, step by step, so you can see how it all fits together. This is how you can turn your farm around. This model is powerful. Step 1. Regenerate the foundation, the soil. This was paramount. All other enterprises depended on healthy soil. Elias focused on no-till methods for his garden. He used cover crops extensively. He applied compost made on the farm. For his pastures, the multi-species grazing was the key soil builder. Healthy soil meant lower input costs. It meant higher quality products. It meant resilience against drought and disease. This wasn't an expense, it was an investment, the best investment he ever made. Step 2. Pastured livestock as profit centers. His cattle were not just beef producers, they were land restorers. He sold grass-fed beef directly to consumers at a premium price. His laying hens in the eggmobiles produced nutrient-dense eggs. These also sold for a premium. The pastured pigs provided high-quality pork, again, sold directly. Each animal enterprise had its own income stream, but they also worked together to improve the land. This synergy was crucial. No part of the farm worked in isolation. Step 3. High-value market gardening. Elias didn't just grow commodity crops. He focused on high-value vegetables, herbs, and fruits. He sold these through a community-supported agriculture (CSA) program. He also sold at local farmers markets and directly to local restaurants. This direct marketing cut out the middlemen. It allowed him to capture the full retail value of his products. He built relationships with his customers. They trusted him. They knew where their food came from. This trust was priceless. Step 4. Value-added products and agritourism. To further boost income, Elias started creating value-added products. Things like jams from his berries, pickled vegetables, and smoked meats. These products had higher profit margins. He also opened his farm for tours and workshops. Agritourism brought in another income stream. It also helped educate the public about regenerative farming. It built even stronger connections with his community. By stacking these enterprises, Elias created a powerful economic engine. His farm became a true millionaire-making machine. Section 8. Lessons from the Loam, Wisdom for Your Walk. Elias Thorne's journey from broke to rich offers us so many valuable lessons. These are not just theories from a book. These are hard-won truths from the soil itself. The first and perhaps most important lesson is perseverance. Elias faced incredible hardship. He was buried in debt. His farm was failing. Many would have given up. But he kept searching for solutions. He refused to let his dream die. So, if you are struggling, don't quit. Keep learning. Keep trying. Your breakthrough might be just around the corner. The second key lesson is to work with nature, not against it. For too long, conventional agriculture has tried to dominate nature, to control it with chemicals and brute force. Elias learned that true success comes from partnership. By observing natural systems and mimicking them on his farm, he healed his land, produced healthier food, and became more profitable. Nature has all the answers. We just need to learn to listen, to watch, and to follow her lead. She is a wise teacher. A third vital piece of wisdom is the power of continuous learning. Elias didn't assume he knew everything. He was open to new ideas. He attended workshops, read books, and talked to other innovative farmers. The world of agriculture is always evolving. New techniques, new understandings, new market opportunities. Stay curious. Be a lifelong student of your craft. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing, both as a person and as a farmer. Finally, Elias's story highlights the importance of connection. Connection to the soil, connection to your animals, and crucially, connection to your customers and community. By selling directly, Elias built relationships. He built trust. His customers weren't just buying food, they were investing in his farm. They were supporting his vision. Don't hide behind a commodity system. Get to know the people who eat your food. Share your story. Build your tribe. This connection is what makes farming truly rewarding and profitable. Section 9. Sow your success, your journey starts now. Elias Thorne's transformation from a debt-ridden farmer to a millionaire is not a fairy tale. It is a testament to what is possible. It shows that with the right mindset and the right methods, you can build a prosperous and fulfilling life on the land. His journey started with a decision to change, a decision to look beyond the conventional, a decision to embrace nature's wisdom. You can make that same decision today. Your own field of dreams is waiting for you. You don't need a massive farm to start. Elias began his changes on small sections of his land. He learned as he went. He adapted his strategies. He built his success incrementally. So start where you are with what you have. Take that first step. Plant a cover crop. Try a small flock of chickens on pasture. Read a book about regenerative agriculture. Every big success story is built on a series of small, consistent actions. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Remember, your farm is more than just a piece of ground. It's a complex ecosystem. It's a potential business powerhouse. It's a place where you can create real wealth. Wealth that is not just financial but also ecological and social. You can produce healthy food, you can heal the land, you can build a vibrant community around your farm. This is the promise of regenerative entrepreneurial farming, a promise that Elias Thorne turned into reality. And you can too. Are you inspired by Elias's story? Do you want to learn more about how to transform your own farm, how to build a profitable agricultural enterprise? Then I invite you to take the next step. Visit www.agricforprofits.com. There you will find more stories like Elias's. You will find practical tips, resources, and guidance. Subscribe to our newsletter for regular updates and insights. Your journey to a thriving farm starts now. Sow the seeds of your success today. The world needs more farmers like Elias. The world needs you.